Hi guys, Paul Kerr from Kerr Driving School. Just going to do a little drive through some roads with various speed limits and give you an idea of how I would use my speed when driving on these type of roads. And this is the sort of thing that you could do on your driving test too. So at the moment I'm in a 30 road, which is full of speed bumps. So at the moment my speed is about 14 miles an hour. That's enough speed for these particular bumps because they are quite nasty ones. And I'm going to go straight ahead at the roundabout, and you might be able to see the 20-mile-an-hour sign on the other side of the roundabout. So 20 is the maximum speed. That doesn't mean that's a target that you have to reach. There'll be plenty of places along this road where I'll have to be quite a lot less than 20 miles an hour. So over the bumps at 14, gently increasing speed. Not much more because there's lots of speed bumps on this road. Slowing down for the next bump. With these type of speed bumps, they're called speed cushions because, as you can see, they look like a cushion on the road. And ideally I try and get one wheel either side of the cushion, and that helps me go over smoothly. That one's 12 miles an hour. The next bump is not a speed cushion, it's a speed bump because it goes all the way across the road. Similar sort of speed though. And now the road is a little bit quieter, so we can add just a little bit more speed, still keeping well within that 20 limit, because 20 wouldn't really be practical along here with so many bumps. If I take these bumps at 20 miles an hour, I risk doing some serious damage to the car. Now here we can't drive over the speed cushions as I did the others because of the parked vehicles, so you'll notice it's a lot bumpier going over the bumps. So all we can do in situations like that is just do them slow and try to make the going over the bump as smooth as we possibly can. Okay, we've got a car coming towards us. There is enough room for both of us here. If we both go slow, simple rule is when there's less space, less speed. We give a thank you to that driver because he took the time to wait for us. A speed cushion in the middle of the road here, so this one I can get one wheel either side, as you can see. And then very shortly we'll be coming to the end of this road. At the end of this road, you will see that the speed limit changes from 20 to 30. And we'll see what type of 30 road that is that we go into. So there's the sign for 30 miles now. I'm going to go left at the roundabout. I've checked my centre mirror and my left mirror and I've signalled left. It's safe to go at the roundabout now. This road that I've just driven into, as you just saw, is a 30 limit. There's lots of parked cars. There's a bend here, so speed on the bend, I'm well below 30 here. I'm only at 20 taking this bend. Now I'm seeing parked cars both sides. There was a motorbike who's just pulled in, so I can slightly increase my speed limit. I'm still not really reaching the full 30 along here because there's parked cars both sides, and so that's a little bit more hazardous than a road that doesn't have parked cars on both sides. So keeping at 25, which I think is plenty for this road for the moment. There's less cars now, so maybe I can go just a little bit more. Then we're coming up to a bend in the road with parked cars on the bend. And we're approaching the end of the road. There's a giveaway line and sign at the end of the road. I'm going to turn left, checking my centre mirror and left door mirror. Left signal down. Now this is an open junction. I can see through the fence that there are no vehicles coming, so I haven't needed to stop. I was able to keep going. I'm on another 30 road. Now this one has fewer parked cars. In fact, actually at the moment it has no parked cars, apart from that one reversing on that side. So on this road it should be absolutely fine at the moment to get fully up to the speed limit. I'm 28 at the moment, 29, and 29 is enough at the moment because there's traffic ahead of me slowing down. So at the traffic lights I'm going to be doing a right turn. Now, although I've checked my mirrors, I'm not signalling at this moment because there is a turning on the right, so I'm going to hold the signal until I'm just level or just slightly past that turn, and now I give my signal. And we can see from the yellow sign here that the road we're going to turn into has a lane closure on the left-hand side. Now, this traffic lights usually stays red for quite a long time, so when I stop at traffic lights, I'll secure the car with a handbrake. I may put it into neutral if I think the lights are going to be red for a long time, and usually the stop-start technology, the engine will turn off. It hasn't on this occasion, probably because we've got the air conditioning going. If I was pulling up at the traffic lights and I expected the lights were going to change quite quickly, I wouldn't go into neutral. I'd wait in first gear. so that I'm ready when the lights change. Now, because I know these lights very well, I know that I'm the next green light because the guys from the left have started to move off, so I'm going into gear now. Not setting the gas just yet, and you notice a motorbike's just pulled up alongside us, so that's a good time to remind you that when you're pulling away from traffic lights, check your two door mirrors for bikes and motorbikes that might come up the sides of us. And because we've got a lane closure, then I'm going to turn directly into the right hand lane. Normally I would encourage my learners to go into the left hand lane, but clearly that's not possible here today. That's a dual carriageway. Some people would make an assumption that this is a 40-mile-an-hour road, but actually it's not. If you look on the dashboard, you can see it indicates it's only a 30 road. And whereas I'd normally move back to the left lane here, I'm going to stay in the right lane because I'm going to be doing a right turn at the second of these two roundabouts. So come up to the first roundabout, so straight ahead at the first roundabout, I'm going to use the right hand lane. So I've checked my mirrors, slowing down, no signal needed for straight ahead. I've changed into second gear, still braking as I approach, it's clear and safe to go. So I'll keep it the right hand lane, and only now as I approach the second roundabout do I check my mirrors and put the right signal on. And then turning right at the second roundabout, keeping in the right hand lane. I am going to give a left signal as I leave this roundabout, that will help drivers coming into the roundabout. And then on a new road we check our mirrors, there is a vehicle following me, so I can just add speed normally. I'm keeping the speed down a little bit on this road. It's 30, but it's just been resurfaced and there's a lot of protruding drains and there's an uneven surface here. So we're keeping the speed a little bit less than the actual speed limit. On another day when this road's been resurfaced properly, I would probably be doing the full 30 miles an hour at the traffic lights. I'm going to turn left now. I'm checked my mirrors now, but I'm not going to put my left signal on because there is the petrol station on the left and that could be misunderstood. So I'm going to get past the petrol station, check mirrors again, pop the left signal down, and I've stopped at the traffic lights. Now I'm keeping a distance from the vehicle in front of me so that I can see where his tyres touch the floor. It's not the most important thing. More important is that we always stop gently, but this helps pupils to understand how far away they should be from a car when they stop. Okay, we just let that lady go across. They looked like they were going to walk out as well, but they stopped. So I'm onto the Uxbridge Road now. There's a 40 sign there. I can see a sign for a lane closure ahead as well. So it doesn't look like I'm going to be reaching 40 this time because the lights here were red. They've just changed to flashing amber, which I can go through on a flashing amber. And then we're coming up to a traffic lights. Now at this traffic lights there are 3 lanes and 2 of the lanes are for turning right. So when we've got a choice of middle lane or right hand lane to turn right, the middle lane actually is better. And the reason for that is that by using the middle lane, when I get round onto the new road, I will still be on the left hand side. As I'm going around, I am watching in my right door mirror to make sure that at least I know if there is a vehicle alongside me. There wasn't a vehicle alongside me on that occasion. And you see how taking that route has got me into the left lane on the new road. Now the bus is pulling in at the bus stop, so I've checked my mirrors. Moving towards the centre of my lane because I didn't have to move too far because of the bus. This is Long Lane. It's a 30-mile-an-hour road. It's roads like this that pupils will often accidentally speed because the road is very wide and very straight. Sometimes pupils will find themselves going considerably over the speed limit. So these are roads we need to be particularly careful on. It is fine to do 29 or 30 along here, but we have to be careful that we don't let the speed run away and suddenly we find ourselves doing 35 or 40 miles an hour down this road. There's a sign there for a speed camera. Zebra crossing is clear on both sides. And there's a speed camera on the left, so you usually see people braking as they come to the speed camera. And another zebra crossing ahead. This road has a lot of zebra crossings actually, and we need to scan the road both sides as we approach crossings. My opinion is we should never have to stop suddenly at a zebra crossing because we should be scanning the road both sides as we approach it. They're usually positioned in a way that we can see them clearly. You've got the flashing lights above them as well. We also have traffic islands along this road, so here we've got 2 traffic islands. So these aren't actually zebra crossings, so occasionally a pupil may think that they need to stop if there's a pedestrian waiting on the island to cross. We don't usually need to stop unless the pedestrian literally steps out in front of us and leaves us no choice. Then we wouldn't need to stop at the islands, but we would need to stop at zebra crossings. Okay, we've got a queue of traffic here. Okay, so I'm in another 30-mile-an-hour zone there, just coming to the end of this road. But as I come to the end of this road, you can see there's a 20 sign. So the road that I'm about to turn right into is 20 miles an hour. On this road, they've put some chicanes, and chicanes are there to encourage drivers to keep their speed down. We're coming to the first chicane just here. Now notice there's no priority between me and the vehicle coming towards, so I'm going to give way to these guys. I could drive through, and some people would just drive over the humps, but that's not the idea of the chicanes. The idea of chicanes is to keep people driving slow and sensible, hopefully. There's a car coming through here, so if we time this right, he's already passed through the chicane. So I'm checking my mirrors, moving around the chicane. And it's a 20 limit, remember, so that's the maximum. There's a van coming towards me. I've slowed down to let the van come through the chicane first. Again, a reminder, there's no priority between us and the other vehicle, so the best thing we do at chicanes is be prepared to give way. Don't race to the chicane to try and get there before the other driver. Because if we both do that, then that's going to cause problems. Now the next chicane, I think I will be there before this other driver, so I'm moving my car into the middle of the road, which sends a message to that driver that I'm taking that position, and he kindly gave way. Roundabout ahead. As I go across the mini roundabout, you might notice that I'm not signalling left when I leave it, and that's because it's not necessary to signal left when you leave a mini roundabout. To signal left usually causes a problem for learners with their steering, and it's just not necessary. Drivers can actually see where you're going. A vehicle coming out from the right side. Pop a left signal on for this one. It's kind of left but kind of straight ahead. A signal was helpful there. Coming down the hill. I didn't mention the change in the speed limit back there, did I? Now, just leaving this junction clear because there's a queue here in case anyone wants to turn right in or out of this junction. We'll leave a gap. Okay, so at the end of the road, I am going to turn. If the cyclists go left, I'm going right. If they go right, I'm going left. Because both ways lead to Ickenham. So I'm quite sure they're turning right. So we're in another 30-mile-an-hour road now, and this one, as you can see, well, you might be able to see from the video, that is uphill. And at the moment, 30 is perfectly fine for this road. There's not too many hazards, even where the parked vehicles are here. There's plenty of room, so 27 at the moment. I can probably get it up just a little bit more. I'm judging, also having to take into account the speed of the car in front and making sure that I keep a safe distance from it. So that's why I didn't fully reach 30 there. At the traffic lights, I'm going to be turning right. So check your mirrors and signal right. Now change down to second gear there, because that would be a better gear for going around there. In general, we don't go around junctions like this in third. It gives more control if we're in a lower gear. Now this is a dual carriageway, and again, a lot of people might look at this road and just make an assumption that it's a 40 limit. Well, actually it's not. There are no 40 signs. If you remember, the rule that applies really to all parts of the country is that if a road has street lights at regular intervals, then the speed limit is 30, unless the signs say otherwise. And here's an example of where the signs say otherwise. As I go across the roundabout, we've got a 40 sign. And so now we do have street lights, but the sign overrules the fact that there's street lights, so the speed limit now is 40. And it's a nice clear road today, so there's no reason really why I shouldn't do fully 40 miles an hour along here. If you're on a road like this for a long time, there's not much traffic around about, you could set your cruise control, and that way you can ensure that you wouldn't accidentally go over the speed limit. I'm not going to do it here because there's queuing traffic ahead. So as I come up to the back of the queue, I'm thinking about the distance that I'm going to stop away from the car in front. It's about half a car length, or for most people we would be able to see, so that you can see where the tyres of the vehicle in front are touching the floor. That may not work for everybody, because if somebody's particularly tall, they will finish closer to that car, and somebody particularly small will finish further away from that car. So if it doesn't work for you, just remember to leave a gap of about half a car's length. Now I'm continuing in the left-hand lane. The speed limit is changing again, so speed limit now has changed to 30. Now you might notice that I'm holding back a little bit here because I could see there's a yellow box junction at this traffic lights, and I wasn't sure if the traffic in front of me was going to clear the box junction, so I didn't want to follow the car in front in case I ended up stopped on the box. Once the lights change, I just need to make sure that there is enough space on the other side of the yellow box junction. Judging by the flow of the traffic, I think that's not going to be a problem. Cars that have gone there have moved along. Checking my door mirrors as I move off, looking for those bikes and motorbikes that could come alongside. Looks like the white car. For a moment there I thought the white car was going to come across to my lane. He seemed to steer towards my lane, but then ended up back in the right hand lane. Come to a roundabout. Now you notice the arrow on the road that the left lane's for left turn only, so I can't use the left lane for straight ahead, so I'm going straight ahead to the second exit. And I'm using the centre lane. The drivers in the left lane are turning left. Occasionally drivers do a cheeky one and use the left lane for straight ahead, which can cause some problems. So I'm always looking out for that when I come to these type of roundabouts. And with the white vehicle next to me blocking my view, so I can't really see the road too clearly, so I couldn't go until I can see the road and that for myself it's clear to go. And now we should be good. And notice I drive into the left hand lane, so I went from the middle lane to the left lane, and now as I pass the first exit, checking centre mirror, left signal to leave the roundabout. And you see I've come off into the left hand lane, which is marked as straight ahead, whereas the other lane is marked as a right turn only. Okay, this is another 30 road. Traffic in front of me is doing about 24, so obviously I can't go any faster than they are. This is not a sort of road where we'd be able to overtake. And I'm going to take the second turning on the right. So the first right turn is just coming up where these guys are coming out from. And I'm going to take the next right turn. So I'm checking centre mirror, right mirror. I'll give them a right signal. Now gently braking. I've done a roll in first gear here, and what that means is I put the car into gear before I stopped, just in case any of these guys flash their lights and let me go. Nobody's done it at the moment, so I may need to go handbrake on here. So I'm going handbrake on, put the clutch down, give the biting point a bit of a rest. Now there's enough time to go before that silver car. I'm going to follow this road round to the right. Taking the next road on the left, so centre mirror, left mirror. It's a small residential road, but it is actually another 30 road. Single yellow line, which for those of you that may not be too sure, we can park on this single yellow line. On today is Sunday when we're filming, and that single yellow line is a Monday to Friday yellow line, so we can pull in on the single yellow line. But we're just going to go off to a different part of this estate, so we don't need to pull in on the yellow line at the moment. Again, a 30 limit, and 28 is my speed at the moment. So Compare this with the roads I was on earlier that had 30 limits with lots of parked cars, and I was having to drive a lot slower, whereas here we can get pretty much up to the speed limit, whereas we couldn't do on the other roads. The road's now becoming narrower. There's a zebra crossing, so I've checked my mirror and slowed down. Because this zebra crossing's got a speed bump on it, I dropped it down to second gear as well. Past the speed bumps. 30 limit, I'm on a slight bend here, so I'm just gently increasing speed. I'm only at 24 at the moment, which is perfectly fine for this road. And now we've got a nice clear road. One parked car, and again there's no problem. In fact, he's on the yellow line. He's not going to get a ticket because it's Sunday. And I'm going to take the next road on the right, and then we'll be pulling up just as we get around this corner. Okay, another single yellow line, which once again is not in operation. I don't need to signal because there's no one around that's going to benefit from that signal. And just looking at the yellow sign there, just regarding the yellow line I've stopped on, that's a Monday to Friday only yellow line, so therefore as today's Sunday we're perfectly fine to stop on it. Also, you might notice on the sign it's Monday to Friday 10:30 AM to 12:30 PM, so outside of those times you can also park on the single yellow line. So thanks for watching. Please give us a like and share if you enjoyed the videos, and subscribe for more. If you've any questions, please let us know in the comments, and we'll see you on the next video.